Hey, Barnett 62. Um, just thought I'd log on here, try live streaming from home. Bored, stretch of 12-hour shifts, and then got to work the next two 12-hour nights. But just thought I'd check, see if anybody's out there online wanted to talk or anything like that. So, anyway, probably not going to get much as far as Derek. So, my nephew's online here. That's pretty cool. Hey, King Eric, glad to see you. Um, yeah, I'm pretty much just bored. I put the LED lights into my garage here, and they're a bit harsh, so I don't know how to make those a little bit softer. Um, they don't have like a dimming switch on them, so I'll have to try to figure something out for the next live stream. But just want to welcome everybody. Like I said, I'm just bored. As you can see, I got the cornet at the house, and the more I set that beat up old scoop that I bought for a joke, I'm starting to like it. I think I like it better than the Super B bulge hood. Hey, Michigan Muscle Car, glad to see you, man. Always enjoy your live streams and stuff too. Usually a bunch of good guys in there, so always look forward to that. But yeah, nothing new. Seems like there's never anything new on my build other than me just moving the car around. Ha! Yeah, I actually shaved my beard a little bit, got it trimmed down. But cool news is the YouTuber Ryan Barsness and his dad have a dustless media blasting set up at their place. So I talked to them, and when they get an opening, I want to take this and get that front clip there all blasted out. Um, so it's a 512 stroker based on a 400 block, and it's got the Trick Flow 270 heads. It's got a flat tappet cam. It's a 650 lift cam. Yeah, actually, I made a mistake. I sprayed down all the bolts and stuff up here on the K-frame and the front suspension with PB Blaster, so I'm getting a little bit high off of the fumes. I might have to open my garage door here in a little bit. Actually, that's probably not a bad idea. Plus, Ruth is probably going to come home pretty soon, and when she does, the garage door will open anyway. So we might get a chance to see my elusive sister-in-law at some point. My wife's at work. Yeah, the good news is at least now that it's here, I'm gonna have a chance to get underneath and finish up what I was started. When I did the video Lazy Guy, I just did half of the underside. I still have to do the other half with the wire wheel brush. And I just bought a desiccant air dryer system for my air compressor. And I'm going to use the um, Eastwood rust encapsulator paint underneath. I got some touch-up paint of the F4 paint, which is the factory color of this car, and I'm going to go to like Napa or someplace like that. I can't find an automotive paint place around here, but see if I can't get some of the body color paint too. I've got some in cans, but when I do get this media blasted and I get that wire wheel, once I do the rust encapsulator, I'd like to be able to put a quick coat of the F4 on the bottom. Yeah, finished moving some of my equipment on the third stall there to my storage space. And I hate to tell you guys this, but the satellite is getting rained on right now. I'm going to open up the garage door. Bear with me for a second. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, the fumes are getting kind of strong here. So yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch your video yet, Michigan Muscle Car. I've been wanting to watch that one, and then you've got another one about where you sold the S10, And I understand that, man. I tell you what, I've come so close to listing this thing for sale too. I think the main reason I haven't sold it is probably because it doesn't have a title. I don't know if I ever said that before, but yeah, there's a kind of a title issue with this car. I bought it knowing that, and that's why it was always going to be a drag car. I'm going to do an abandoned title for it. I've searched the VIN. It's clean. There's nothing on the VIN, but I might also do a bonded title if I need to. Not that I want to drive it on the street so much as I would like to do drag week or something like that at some point. But yeah, I was going through all my parts for this car, and that's what kind of takes a long time on a build. Is I'm not sponsored by anybody, so in order to build the type of car I've always wanted to build, it's taken me about 3 years or so to gather all the parts. I actually started gathering them for the silver car there originally before we switched over to this. Yeah, I want to try to time it when I do the rust and caps later. I'll do my research and find out how long I need to wait before I try to top coat it with the body color. I just think that since it's a Mopar, it would be cool to paint it green underneath. Well, I'm painting this whole front clip here green. So everything underneath will be restored on the car, just waiting to save up the money to do the body on it at some point. Yeah, I watched the America's List Street Outlaws too. That's a guilty pleasure. I like all those guys. Way out of my league for sure. Yeah, I think this is Ruth probably coming home now. So you'll get to see my sister-in-law. I like the C bodies. They're pretty cool. There was one I took my Mopars in the Park video, the one that was in Stillwater would have probably been the 2019 video. Anyway, I'll have to try to cover that. I took a picture of a C body. It was like a New Yorker, and it was a two-door. But I tried to take it from like the angle of the windshield going down the hood of the car because that hood was like about 2 miles long. It was pretty cool. The car was black too, so that was really cool. But yeah, the C bodies, I don't think they get enough love. Yeah, it's sad to say a lot of those went to the demolition derbies, and then guys pulling the 440s to stick in other cars. But I think they're going to come into their own now that they're even getting harder and harder to find. Just the other day when I was going by a Target over by us, there was some guys picking somebody up, and they had it was probably an early '70s Buick 4 door, and it was just mint, just in perfect stock condition. Had glass packs on it. It was kind of a gold color, and it looked like it was about 20 feet long. It was just kind of a beautiful car. Say hi, Ruth. Hi. Hey, everybody. My sister-in-law is here. So, hi. She just got home from work. But yeah, I was wondering, what do you guys think of that hood scoop? I'm starting to really like it a lot more than the bulge hood. I thought maybe I would get another Coronet flat hood and then graft a scoop like that on there, but just kind of one of those things, I've already got this hood. It cost about $399, and then it cost almost that much to ship. So you're looking at about like another $600 for the hood, and I've already got this hood. So if I do decide to mount that scoop, I'll probably cut out the bulge, but it's not like it's a real Super B hood anyway. Yeah, Derek likes the scoop. I have an Instagram page, and as a YouTuber, I'm a really good Instagrammer. I'm really good at taking pictures. My picture taking skills are way better than my automotive mechanic skills. Yeah, some of those big Buicks are just beautiful cars. I like the four doors that are hard tops. I think those are really, really, really cool. No, this is just a fiberglass molded hood. And if this was a better camera, what I'll do is like on my next video, I'll kind of do a close up on the hood. I had a video a long time ago where I did when it first arrived, but I think I deleted that video. But the lines from where the inserts for the scoops are on this, some people call it the hog nose hood. I don't know. Um, they're kind of faint. They're not as well defined. So if you look at the hood, you're going to say, "Oh, it's a power bulge hood," but you're going to notice right away that it's not a real one. You'll be able to tell that those scoop inserts aren't real. I do have some real scoop inserts. The hood that originally came on this car was just a normal metal coronet hood, and they grafted on the Super B bulge scoop. That hood weighs about 600 pounds because it's just so caked with Bondo to cover up where they grafted it on. But the inserts are really nice. So I was thinking about that hood's still up at Gary's. I should go up there and pull those inserts off that hood, if nothing else. I could probably sell those to somebody who wants them. Yeah, it's not a Super B, and I never want to claim that it is. And you just don't see those mailbox scoops very often. I know Jed had one on Jezebel there for a while, um, but I think this one's actually even taller than that one. But I want a nice, really big one if I'm going to do it. Plus, part of me would love to put a tunnel ram on my engine, but the tunnel ram with max port wedges from Indy is about a $700-800 tunnel ram. And then I'd have to get another carb. So my first car was a 1973 Firebird Esprit. It was the rubber enduro front end, and it had maroon interior. It was black, and it had like a red pinstripe on the side. And it was a column shift without a console, which was kind of cool. But it was a 400 quadrajet turbo 400. It had the Pontiac Rally wheels on it, the ones that sort of look like Kragers, but they're not chrome. Kind of look like a Magnum wheel, sort of. Um, that was a fun car. I wound up over revving it and spinning a rod bearing. And then when we took it in to fix it by putting some new shocks on it, the leaf springs had rusted away from the rear frame. It was, in South Dakota winters a lot. Yeah, yeah, you're talking about you had one on your 72, 74 Charger. Yeah. I remember some guys in those scoops. There was when I had my GTO, I had a 70 GTO and I had a 400 4-speed with 391 gears. And my dad and his friend Roy, when I was in basic training, took it and put a Lenati cam in it, an Offenhauser intake with a Holly 650 spread bore, had 391 gears. It was pretty fast. And there was a kid who lived in Brandon that wanted to race me, and he had a 71 or 72. He said it was a Roadrunner, but even then, I figured it was probably a satellite. It was red, had the halo top with a white pinstripe on it, and they had a hood scoop like this on there, and they'd put like a little trap door on the inside with like a hinge or something. It would kind of flip open, maybe to help keep the rain out or something. It was just something that stuck out in my head that it had that like little flap door in there. But they'd put a 440 in it with a turbo 400. And as much as I'm a Mopar guy, I hate to say I smoked him. Wasn't even a race. But I think it's just because maybe they put a 440 in there, but they never made the rest of the drivetrain match up. Probably didn't have very good gears, or it was a teenage kid too. So he was. I think I was 1 year out of high school, and he might have been like still in high school, and I just don't think he knew how to race. Just he had the car and he thought it was fast. Yeah, the secret's out. I'm actually a Pontiac guy. Um, I I would kill to have another 70 GTO. No, but mine had the Judge sticker on it. It was a red 70 GTO, had like parchment interior. On the dash, it had the Judge emblem, and somebody had put the Judge decals on the fenders right behind the front wheel openings, and it had the whale tail on the back, and then it had like the little Judge sticker on the back. But from what I understand, Judges were actually it was more of a luxury trim option. So the car would have been decked out with everything possible, and this was a crank window, manual door lock, no air conditioning car. So plus the VIN and everything, it wasn't really a factory. And that wasn't the engine that was in that GTO when I bought it was actually out of like a '74 Trans Am originally before my dad and Roy reworked it. Yeah, like the old air grabbers, the vacuum. That shows you how much I know about Mopars. When I was talking to Chris Tuma, he's pretty prevalent on 1970 Coronet group on Facebook. He's got two Super Bs 1970s that have the dual scoops with the air grabber hood underneath. And I never realized, but there's actually a like a control underneath the dash that you pull that opens those up so that those scoops are functional. And that's one of the coolest hood setups ever. Um, it would be too expensive for me to try to think of doing something like that to this car. Just even if you bought remanufactured parts, that would just be super expensive. Yeah, the Rockford car, man, that's one of my influences when I was a kid. He went through a couple of iterations of that. I think it started off with like a 74 or 75, and then later in the series, he had like a 77 or 78. But yeah, whenever I see a Trans Am, or a Firebird, I love the idea of making like a Rockford clone. Another thing is there is a 72 GTO on Marketplace right now in Milwaukee, and it's gold with a black top, and it has Krager SS wheels on it with fat tires in the back. And as soon as I saw that car, I thought Slapshot. If you've ever watched the movie Slapshot, what's his name? Paul Newman. He drives, but his is a 70. So it's got the Enduro front end, not the 71 72s. The 71 72s, I used to joke that they had the fish face, and I kind of didn't like them. I do still prefer the 70 Enduro front end, but they've grown on me. Just at certain angles, it makes the car look like it has a ridiculously long front end compared to the 70s. Hey, Muscle City Madness. Dude, if you guys want to see some cool cars, you go to his channel. He's got an awesome '69 Roadrunner. That thing's pretty sweet. He's working on that as he goes, but he just got some killer exhaust put on it. But man, I love that. My dream car is Mazda C5. I just saw that in the background, but no, my dream car would be a 1969 Roadrunner. I want an all black 1969 Roadrunner with a 4 speed. It could have a 383, 440, or 446 pack. I prefer the taillights on the 69s. Yeah, man, I couldn't imagine wrecking a car like that nowadays. Back then, they were just cars. When I was a kid and I'd walk around my grandma's kind of neighborhood in Southern Illinois, there was a GTO that was wrecked, and it was a 68 or 69, and that Enduro front end was like at a 90-degree angle, and it was bent up. I do believe my uncle Gig actually bought it, and it was on his junkyard for a while. It was the Corrado green, if that's how you say it. It was a green metallic. It's a beautiful color. Yeah, man. You know, there's a one angle on the 70 Super Bs and the Cornets that does look goofy because the car's kind of swoopy and rounded in the way they rounded the front end. The angle of the roof line is still the 68, 69 angled. But the thing that helps that is if you got big fat tires on the back to fill it out. It's usually the cars that are kind of setting factory stance with skinny wheels on it that you notice the weirdness of the shape. But anyway, just had a message pop up here, guys. I'm gonna try to. All right. Yeah, I tell you, the '90s. You know that you're still going to see some pretty cool cars then. I got my first car at 15, and that was the Firebird. So that would have been around 1981 or 82, and our parking lot was full of some cool cars. I remember when I was in junior high, living around St. Louis, me and my buddy Alan would walk around, and there was a blue '69 GTO that had a Gateway Raceway sticker, and it had other stickers on the windows. So it was the fastest car in the world just because it had those stickers in my childhood mind. But yeah, we would stop by car lots and there'd be like 70. I remember there was a couple like 71, 72 Chargers. And when you look inside, one had a speedometer that went to like 120 and the other one went to 150. And in junior high, whatever the speedometer said was exactly how fast the car was. You know, it's just the way we thought back then. So it's like, I want the one that goes 150 miles an hour, obviously. So that's your dream car, Moparnet 62, 68 Charger, custom wide body. Yeah. I've got a buddy. Well, he's more like a high school friend. We haven't really been in too close a contact over the years, but he's got a 70 Charger. It's plum crazy purple. It's got a white top, white interior, and he's got a Ray Barton Hemi in it. I haven't seen that one on from New Zealand yet. But yeah, every time I think that I want to put this up for sale, my wife screams and shouts for joy. But I can't do it. I do love this body style, and the odds of ever coming across another one would probably be pretty slim, at least in my price range. I've got a buddy that Moparnet has a 70 to 71. Anyway, he's got a Camaro. It's got a 383 stroker in it. It's kind of been rust modded a little bit. It's kind of lowered. If you look at the beginning of my channel, you'll see I started this channel when I had a 71 satellite project car that was in about the same shape as this green car, and it was green. And if you look at the header of my channel, that's actually a 71 satellite, not this car. But anyway, when I first joined YouTube, I had a 1971 Firebird Formula 400 clone. It was a 400 4-speed and had 373 gears. It was pretty nice, but the guy that did it, there was some wonky stuff going on with the car. First thing I did was took it out and rotted it and wound up busting a shock. And when I got under there, I noticed he had two different leaf springs underneath the car. And when I replaced the shocks, I had to re-drill a mounting spot for the shock. I wondered why he did the two different leaf springs, but then I noticed I think he did one aftermarket quarter panel, but didn't do the other one. And if you looked closely at the rear bumper, it was slightly bent too. So if you looked at the car from the rear, one corner just seemed slightly farther in than the other. And it was only like because I own the car and I saw it every day that I noticed it. Not too many other people did, but it just started to drive me crazy. But when I put different leaf springs under it, new shocks, uh, then the car it had the door buttons that when you open the doors, the under dash lights and stuff would come on. They would stay on because then all of a sudden the doors didn't fit quite right. So there was something wonky going on with that car, so I passed it down the line to buy the satellite. 70 Challenger RT, yeah. Yeah, I got a special fan to my channel. Her name's Violet. I'm going to get to see her for the first time this weekend. My nephew's a proud father now. So far, I've just been seeing pictures of her, but she's pretty beautiful. Can't wait. I'm bringing my mom up from Southern Illinois, so we're gonna zip over there. That's part of the reason I'm not gonna be able to work on this car this weekend is because me and my mom are gonna go see my great niece, her great great granddaughter. Hey, Andy, good to see you, man. Yeah, uh, if it doesn't have an engine, you can dream. uh, my biggest thing is, man, I gotta learn how to do a lot more stuff on my own because I'm more of a car enthusiast and a good car owner. But I never really turned many wrenches. I mean, I basically my dad before I could drive when I was 15, he made sure that I could change oil, change my spark plugs, change tires, and then he also it had a quadrajet on it. I kind of knew how to fiddle with a quadrajet. If nothing else, I probably made it run lean or something. And as a reason, part of the reason I spun a rod bearing in that car. But just Mopar Joe sent me an old carburetor, and it's kind of a Holly style. I think it's actually a Ford carburetor. But anyway, I was going to practice taking that apart and putting it back together to kind of see how things work. My goal is when I get around to finally pulling the 318 out of the satellite, I'd like to rebuild it myself. Start by just disassembling it in my garage, and then just go through the motions of like rebuilding it and stuff a couple different times, just so I can kind of familiarize myself with stuff. Yeah, you got to learn something every day. And this is like just the total opposite of what I do for a living. So I'm kind of, I've got a completely different knowledge base, and so when it comes to cars, it's like if someone was around to kind of just walk me through things, it would be a lot easier. But I'm just kind of walking through my own, watching your guys' videos to learn how to do stuff. Yeah, nobody would even look at this thing when I was in high school. The way it was when I bought it, that would have been off to the scrapyard. Yeah, I paid $1,500 for my GTO. Yeah. I'll break your guys' hearts. After my dad died in 1985, it was my only mode of transportation, and I just dropped out of college. And even back then, that car cost me like $5 to drive to school, $5 to drive home, and then $5 if I drove it anywhere. So I wound up selling it. I put a for sale sign on it, and then like 5 minutes later, a guy like offered me $3,500 for it, and I was so poor at the time that seemed like the most money I ever heard of in my life. So I sold it for that much. Yeah, now 70 GTOs. There was one I was watching for a while that was like $17,000, and it needed interior work. And I don't know if it'd been repainted or not, but every car is like peeling an onion. You either got to start with something like this so you know what you got from the beginning and you shape it into what you want, or you take a chance and you buy a car someone else already did. My satellite back there, it's a pretty nice car, but it was restored like in the 90s, and it's got some flaws to it, but it's still pretty sharp and it's a nice driver. Yeah, 30 grand. I don't have 30 grand. Although if I could sell a satellite, I don't want to sell it though. It's not really for sale. Sometimes I debate like when I go to Mopars in the park, list like putting a for sale sign on it and asking like 20,000. See if anyone would actually give me that. I took Ryan Barsness for a ride in it when he helped me unload this car, and yeah, I'm sure he wasn't impressed at all with the 318 in it. The 318, like I said, the one video you could hear kind of knocking when you start up. It's not running the best. I probably need to. It's probably fouled the spark plugs again. The carburetor is a 2 barrel, so I've never messed with it, and it just needs a lot of attention. But the transmission is so tired. It's one of those where it clunks every time you put it in gear and jerks forward. Um, and then there's just the utter lack of power is just underwhelming. The car is beautiful, but it's not that fun to drive. But yeah, I was going to do a video. Now that I got the car at home, I thought I would do a video where I kind of angle the car and then I set all the parts I have for it right next to it to kind of explain. It's like I've been just showing the same pictures of this car on every video since I bought it, basically, except for me taking the front clip off. But it's the behind the scenes things that just aren't glorious to videotape. The acquiring of parts. Yeah, those prices are ridiculous. There was a guy on Instagram that showed a picture of like a '69. It was like a black and white classifieds back before they had Marketplace and like Craigslist, and it was a '69 Super B with meats on the back, jacked up, and it talked about the 440 and how it was all hopped up, and he was asking like $3,600 for it. If you want to ask me, I think the '69 uh, Super B, I almost like those better than the 70 and 68 through 70 Chargers. Ha, yeah. Yeah, I do that, Derek. I do. I show me removing undercoating with a wire wheel. I haven't got to the grinding sparks yet. And then I got to make sure to set my carburetor on fire and then like interrupt my video and make sure that the will it start, and it won't start before the commercial, and then it will after. Yeah. One of the things that I'm bummed about is, man, there's just so many people out there having fun right now, and unfortunately, there's guys out there breaking their cars too. But if I could get this car fired up and started this summer, it'll be a dream. Um, Pipe dreams would be being able to either try to get into drag week, but there's a lot of guys in a group that I talk to that are going to go down to the zip tied drags, and I would have to trailer this down there. But if I could get this running, then that would be like a dream. But I'll be lucky to get the engine in it and start it up. But that's my one goal for the summer. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I just thought I'd log on here. I'm just kind of bored. About the only thing I got time to do today is maybe throw some stuff in the laundry, go back to work the next 2 days. Um, when I do that, when I get off here, I'm going to do something exciting, just sit down and read my book. Yeah, I'll definitely take you, Derek. Actually, I would like to take it down to Marion there by you guys, Thunder Valley. They have a all Mopar drag sometimes. And I don't remember, Derek, when I was back last 4th of July and I stopped and talked to that guy at the car show uh, that we were at. Um, Mike, he drag races a lot. He's got a pretty hopped up modern Mustang, but he's a really good drag racer as far as like uh, reaction time and all the ins and outs of competing. But I don't know. Some of you guys might have saw that I bought a 6-pack liftoff hood for the satellite. Originally, that was what I was going to put on it when the stroker was going to go in the satellite. So I always wanted one, but I kind of like the way the satellite looks right now. Um, but I think it'd be something that I could always do a little bit of both. You've been practicing drag racing in your cross deck? Testa. All right, Chris Testa's on the chat. This means a lot to me. I really enjoy Chris's channel. He's just a really awesome guy. If you guys haven't checked out Testa's Speed Shop, everybody unsubscribe for me and go subscribe to him because he's a good guy. He's always helping his buddies out with their cars, and then his cars are just immaculate. I feel like a slob when I when I look at his cars. Uh, his 70 Chevelle is pretty sweet, and then I really like those Motion Auto valve covers. The fact that they're something you're not going to see on hardly anything else. It's like rare things like that that really catches a guy's eye. When you're at the car shows and stuff. But and then of course he knows how I feel about my Firebird that he's taken care of for me. Man, the worst part about this whole YouTube thing is you just wish that there was a lot easier to meet up with people that are like hundreds and hundreds of miles away. There's so many good YouTubers out there that would just be fun to just sit around and bullshit and talk about cars with. Um, Chris Testa would be one of those guys. When I watch him and his friends go into car shows and stuff like that, I get really envious of that. Don't have too many car show or car friends around here in the cities. There's a new guy that works where I work, and he and I are going to go to Mopars in the Park. And he also, his big thing is he likes the older cars, like back to the 50s. So they're actually going to have it this year. They announced it. And when I went to Napa today, they even were selling tickets. So back to the 50s is back on. So I'm hoping to get some good like car show type videos again for you guys. Mostly for me. I just like watching pictures of cars on my big screen TV. That's pretty much what my whole channel is. So Ryan T. Originally, I sold my Harley to buy a 440 and a 727 transmission, and I was going to do a sure grip to put in my satellite, but it was kind of a snowball effect. I couldn't find anything that I trusted, and for the prices people were asking for them, I wound up coming across the mud truck engine with the tunnel ram, dual predator carbs. It was a 400 stroke to 512 cubic inches, and anyway, I wound up taking that to a guy, and then he built the 512 up to the 700 horsepower engine that it is. And I was looking at having to re-engineer the satellite, but it's a sweet car. It's a fairly low mileage unit. The underneath of that car is really solid. I just didn't want to hack it up or do any butchery to that car. So I do have a 68 440, I think. I'd taken it up to Gary well before COVID hit, but I kind of lost touch with Gary probably almost for about a year now. So I need to touch base with him and see what's going on there. But I might have the 440 for it. Yeah, Chris is the caretaker of my Firebird. I would like first dibs if you ever sell that thing. That would be a definite. Just like Indy Me Too said, he wants my satellite. I want that Firebird, and I don't. I'm not a numbers matching perfect show car kind of guy. I like the non Super Bs. I like the Coronet 440s. I like the satellites. Um, the GTOs. You got to get the GTO to get the enduro front end. Uh, but I usually like the off model so that way you don't piss so many people off when you do what you want to them. So the big plan was I shifted gears. The reason I started kind of calling this Plan B is because that was Plan A to put the engine and transmission and everything in the satellite. But then I wound up coming across this on Craigslist, and then I took it to Gary. He mini tubbed it, put the subframe connectors in, and started the roll cage. It needs the roll cage finished. I'm probably going to be able to finish welding up the. Actually, one of the reasons I brought it here is I'm looking forward to trying to weld up the inside of the wheelhouse there. Figure nobody's going to see my shitty welds, and I can grind them off there. It'd be a good place to practice. I've thought a lot about Carlisle. That would definitely be a bucket list kind of thing. I would have to kind of look into. Do you know the dates of that, Chris? Like when it is, like this coming year? My schedule is pretty easy. There's 1 week every month where I don't have a life. I work like 6 12-hour shifts, and then the other 2 weeks I only work 3 days, and then I get a week off every month. Um, but everything seems to fall in the week that I work, and that one's the hard one to swap out. The others are any of those other weeks are usually pretty easy for me to get time off. Sadly, I'd have to drive my truck out there. uh, but I know some of you guys, and I know your cars. If there's any of you on there that have something that I don't know about it, tell me what it is. I'd like to hear about it. Like I said, I just like to talk about cars. I can talk more than I can do. That's for sure. I know I keep teasing my nephew that we need to put a lift kit on his Cross Tech. Uh, Always got to do some modifications of some kind to whatever you drive. Yeah, then I'll look that up, Chris. Check it out. Yeah, we got to do something with that Camaro, Derek. Derek's got a third gen Camaro, which was his first car. And it's got Krager SS's on it because he was raised right by both Mitch and me. That's when I'll get all the big views is when we go Chevy, right? Yeah, I was watching Chris on Testa Speed Shop and his friend peeling back the vinyl top on the guy's Coronet. That was really nice to see that didn't turn out too bad. I always worry about the vinyl top on that car, especially now that it's actually sat out in the rain for the first time, other than when I washed it. Yeah, I probably have a little bit more money in the bank if I like Chevys, and I do. I had a '70 Chevelle. Let's see, do I have any other Chevys? I've owned a little bit about everything. I had the '71 Firebird. Got rid of that. Got a '76 Trans Am. While I had the '76 Trans Am, I got the GTO. Wound up selling the '76 Trans Am. Sold the GTO. Drove a Honda Civic for a while, but then wound up buying a Buick convertible. It was like a '70 Skylark convertible. It was brown with a leaky white top. Then after the Buick, let's see, there was an '85 Mustang GT. Uh, had the '70 Chevelle. That car was originally green, and somebody had dyed the interior black, so parts were flaking off, and you could see the green interior. But it was painted charcoal with dual black stripes and a black vinyl top. It was a pretty sharp car. Surprising, I've never owned any Fords, but my dad and my grandpa were pretty much Ford guys. My grandfather had his first car that he ever bought up until after he passed away. That was a '64 Galaxie 500. It was red with black interior, and it had the aftermarket air conditioning underneath the dash that was installed by the dealership, and that thing was pristine. He did not let that thing get dirty at all, and only took it out on special occasions. And my dad always had Ford trucks. My mom had a '68 Torino fastback. It was black and it had the red C stripe on the side with red interior. And then she sold that for a 74 Grand Torino that was like a Starsky and Hutch one, except it didn't have the white stripe. It had the chrome Ford Magnum wheels on it instead of the slotted mags. But all my friends always called it the Starsky and Hutch car. Uh, that was our family hot rod. We always My mom and dad were cool. They always owned two doors. But that was pretty much it for Fords. I told Mopar in that 62 my really cool Ford truck story. Um, yeah. Yeah. My car had a new top put on it when they repainted it. So hopefully they did it right underneath. Um, but the other day, if you look close on some of the pictures, you'll see a spot where I think they might have repaired the vinyl top at one spot. It blends in pretty nice, and unless you're looking, you don't really notice it. But along the front windshield, there's a tiny little tear, and I got to figure out how to kind of get that sealed up. So I don't want that to be a source for water to get in. Yeah, I'm not against Fords. I still do find myself looking for some Torinos. A bucket list Torino would be like a 70 to 71 Torino. I love that body style a lot. Um, that's one of my favorite body style cars. Just a while back, there was a '68 Torino that was for sale that had a 427 in it, and the guy said it ran 12s. It was kind of a turquoise color. It was on our local marketplace. Yeah, I check every time I wash my car for bubbles. Yeah, Marty's Cutlass is pretty cool. The one with the 455 4 speed. But yeah, it seems like things are kind of winding down here and that. So I appreciate everybody coming in, checking out. Like I said, I was just kind of bored on a middle day here. Not much I could do. It was rainy. Couldn't get some yard work done or anything. Ryan, what's up, man? Good to see you. I was talking about you earlier when we first started up the channel. He's got. If you guys haven't been to Ryan's channel, he just put up some pretty cool videos of them using their dustless media blaster, and I want to hire him to do the front of this car. So that, and then the area in the inside where the welding was on the mini tubs, so that way we can kind of get that all fixed up, get it painted. Yeah, I like the Cougars too. The Cougars are pretty sharp cars, like the one on Roadkill Garage. That's a really cool body style. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys too this weekend, Derek. Yeah, it's going to mean a lot being able to get Grandma there, to meet Taryn and Violet. Marty doesn't have the 4 speed in the Cutlass yet. I guess I kind of lost touch there for a little while. Yeah, I go in spurts. There's times where I'm just on YouTube 24 hours a day, it seems like, and then all of a sudden I stumble and fall, and next thing I get to doing other things. But yeah, Ryan Barsonis, they've got a lot of 71 to 74 uh, body style B bodies out at their place. Pretty sweet. I would say 69 Roadrunner, then like the 71 Roadrunner or 70. I like the 71 marker lights, but I like the grills on the 72 Roadrunners better, and I like the taillights on the 72 Roadrunners better. Um, those are some of my favorite body styles of all time. Oh, no, I'm probably just not talking, unless it did crash and I'm not aware of it. Just my conversation skills are so keen today. I had no topic or anything. Just bored and want to see what everybody's up to. Ryan's way more ambitious than I am. Is to be young and have so much energy. Uh, yeah, but yeah, Eric, I don't know if it crashed or if I was just sitting there paused. Looks like we're down to just kind of 3 people in here right now, anyway. But it's always fun just reaching out and saying hi, getting to talk to people. I like Moparnet 62. Always fun talking cars with you. And then, like I said, Ryan's got a pretty good deal going there. If you guys are looking for specific parts and stuff, check out their YouTube channel. And then, if you're in the Minnesota area and you want some blasting done, you should reach out to them when they get that business up and going. That'd be a pretty good thing for them, man. Yeah, Ryan, I just outed myself as a Pontiac guy, so that's probably where we're down to 5 people in the chat right now. My nephew Derek always knew that, but he's kept it secret all these years. He's been ashamed of me. So. Yeah, and Chris, man, someday, like I said, I'm gonna definitely check out and see if there's a way I can make that Carlisle thing happen because you're one of the YouTubers I'd really like to meet in person. You and Jerry. Got the pleasure of meeting Ryan already. That was kind of cool having a YouTuber so close to me. Vice Grip's Garage is here in Minnesota too, but we're on different levels right now. Just for now, though. I was hoping he would put on another car show. 2020 kind of. He had planned to keep doing them when I was at his first car show, but COVID happened, and so he didn't have one. He had talked about having something out at their shop in Wisconsin, but then that dropped off too. And now he's pretty big. I just saw that he's on what do you call it? Uh, he's going to be on Motor Trend on Demand on a TV show put on by David Freiberger. He's going to be paired with Alex Taylor. I don't know how many of you guys are into Drag Week and you know who Alex Taylor is. She's been doing Drag Week since she was like 16 years old. Her dad has a hot rod shop and they have a YouTube channel, and he does amazing custom fab work. He just built a killer like tubular chassis 55 Chevy Nomad. It's going to have a supercharged engine in it. They're building a 55 drag car specifically for Drag Week. That's kind of stuff that like is like bucket list dream stuff for me, is to have a car like that. But just to be able to get maybe something like this, even though it wouldn't be competitive. Originally, the plan for this car, when I was going to build it for Drag Week, I looked up the rules, and this car would have fit in big block, no power adder, stock suspension. Um, in the stock suspension, you could run, you could move your leaf springs inboard. You could have mini tubs, but you couldn't be fully tubbed. You could have subframe connectors, and the QA1 tubular front suspension that I have for this car would fit in stock suspension because it actually still even uses the torsion bars. But then I know it was last year or the year before when I looked at the rules, they were saying that I think mini tubs would put it in the modified category. I would still go do Drag Week, but even if I was in the modified category with cars running fives, but yeah, just to say I went there and did it, you know. Plus, that's like my Super Bowl. I spend like, you know, they show Drag Week on YouTube, and it's like the full 8 hours. On my days off, that's my day. I just sit there and I watch the entire Drag Week videos. I'm pretty sad. Yeah, Ryan, anytime. Like I said, I owe you. You need some help, man. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Um, just let me know. I'm good at lifting things and setting them down. That's my automotive technique there. That's my skill set. And then definitely keep me in mind when you guys get a window open. I saw you guys were working on that Chevy. I see how you are. You know, Chevy's first. But anyway, yeah, I definitely like to pay you guys to do that media blasting for me. I was telling Ryan when he was here helping me that I have everything to start bolting onto this car, but I have it in my mind that I got to get the underneath looking good. So I got to finish the wire wheeling, paint the underneath, and paint this front clip, and then everything's going to start going on a digital box. I want to run like a rev limiter, different things like that. Right now, I don't have a trans brake, but at some point, I'm going to want all the stuff that drag racers use. You got to give the G bodies some love. They uh, they were what saved guys during the 80s when there was nothing else. Mopar definitely didn't have anything in the 80s, although some of those little turbo um, Omnis and stuff like that, people are really doing a lot with those. Yeah, sweet, Ryan. Um, I know like this next week, my nephew Derek, who's in the chat here, we're going to go see his baby. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be pretty tied up. I think my mom might even stay through Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, I definitely would love to. The sooner we can get that media blasted. I thought my desiccant air dryer stuff was going to show up today, but it didn't. So we're almost to the hour, and looks like quite a people said goodnight already. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. And thanks for helping me have a little bit of fun here on my day off, guys. And then Ryan, I'll give you guys a call about trying to get the car in there. MoPernet 62, always love chatting with you. Chris Testa, like I said, if you guys haven't subscribed to Chris Testa at Testa Speed Shop, do so. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. And then, of course, Mopar 62. He's got a good channel. Ryan's got a good channel. Mopar City Madness is a newer guy that I stumbled across. It was awesome him stopping by too. I appreciated that. He's got a Challenger that's pretty sweet. It's a manual transmission, and then he's got his Roadrunner 69 Roadrunner. All right, guys, we made it to an hour of me sitting here staring blankly into the screen. I'm going to shut her down, but enjoyed everybody coming in. Thanks.